Okay, Chelsea, were you able to verify that your breakpoint got executed? This is very important for assessment. Regardless of what project we have to segue on Tuesday. And if we unsure of how or why it's not segueing, we have to clear that up today, okay? Are we all good? Right? Okay. Great. So the next step, as Cassandra says, she says we have to embed our newsfeed controller in a navigation controller. So where we'll go do that, we'll go back to our subclass. We'll go back to our subclass for the tab controller. So in the tab controller subclass, right, in our NYTTopStories tab controller, we'll go back here. We'll go back to where we have our view controllers. And we'll embed our news feed in a navigation controller. Yes, we could as well just do all of them here while we're here. So just do all of them so they have a headline. So this one is saved articles, and this one is settings. So at this point, all three of our view controllers is embedded in a navigation controller, okay? And again, if you set a breakpoint, if your navigation controller is nil, that means you cannot push. You could present, like you could present modally, but you cannot push. We do not, since the detail controller is coming from a view controller for embedded nav, it's going to also be embedded. Exactly. It becomes a cascading effect. Very good. Okay, so at this point we'll run our app again.
Did we push already?
Yeah, we wrote the push code already. So we run the code again. We click, we segue. That's a different situation here with the black screen. But at minimum, we should have the title. Do we see the title in the nav bar? Right, the title of the article. Let's go fix this black screen we have. Let's go to the detail view controller in view did load here and give the background color a system background. In your detail view controller, give the background color a color of your choice. And when you scroll over, you should have a...
Is there something that I'm doing wrong? Because it pauses before it slides.
Did you give it a color?
Yeah, it's yellow.
Okay. Maybe the image is bigger. Are you using the thumb large? I mean, yeah, just make sure you're using thumb large and not the bigger image. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up our detail view. In our detail view, the first thing we'll do here, I'll say navigation item. We'll give it a bookmark so that the user could click on it and start saving articles. So navigation item dot write bar item. Here we are programmatically setting up the or add in UI bar button item. To the right side of the navigation title. Navigation bars. Yes, exactly. So let's go create an UI bar button item. So we'll say UI bar button item. We'll use the option that expects an image. UI image, system name. We'll put in bookmark here. And style will say plain, target self, and we need some sort of selector. When the user clicks on it, we need a selector here. For the selector, we'll create an add Objective-C function. What am I going to call this? Article, save article, button pressed. UI bar button item, if in case we do need it. And now let's go call it in our action. So in our action, it expects a selector, a Objective-C selector. And here, to verify that it works, before I do anything else, I just want to verify it works. I'll put a print statement saying saved or save article button pressed. Okay. All right, let's go test this out. Run our app. Click. And if I click on this bookmark here, in my console, I should see save article button press getting printed, right? Yeah. That might be an image issue or simulator issue if you see that, right? Or double check your image, the size of it is smaller. Like the thumb large, are you using thumb large? Right, it transitions like normal here, but just double check the size of your image. Make sure you're using the thumb large and not the super jumbo. Okay, so we have this happening. Everybody could confirm that the bookmark is saying save article. Yulia? I'm sorry? You could not segue. Did you, Aaron, double check Yulia's computer? Go ahead.
Is there a reason why we don't embed the controllers and the navigation controllers in the actual lazy bar?
You could do it over there, that's fine. Yeah, you could do it over there. You okay, Yulia, you said? Okay. Everybody else could confirm that the bookmark button works? Yes? All right, cool. All right, let's keep going here. What's a good logical place to go? Let's go create our detail view. Let's go create our detail view now. Our detail view will simply have, let's see what we have here. Our detail view will look very similar to this. We have our article title in the nav bar. We have a super jumbo image. That could be anywhere from like 40% to whatever we want here. 40%, approximately 40% of the height if you want. We'll have the abstract label. So this is going to be a UI label. This is our image view. And we'll put a byline in, which is also a UI label. And we'll put a date in as well, also a UI label. Okay, so those are the components we're going for. Okay, let's go do it. So in our view section, let's go ahead and create a new view. I'll start off with a Swift file, and I'll call this article. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just change it to UIKit. Article detail view. Article detail view. I say create. And we simply, Tiffany, we'll just change this to UIKit. And we have our code snippet already. We'll just say create view. And this becomes article detail view. Bless you. Just UIKit, article detail view. We all have our code snippets, right, for our custom views? Yes? Anybody needs help with code snippets? Yes, you can. If you go to the add button here, the object library add button, and go to your code snippet, whatever it's called, and then go to the edit button. Yeah. Article detail view. What do you have, sir? So, you have an image view. You also have abstract headline. You have a byline and you have a date. We'll start off with the image. We'll say public lazy var news image view is of type use image view. This is where you could just like make programmatic code help you. Just jump to your cell and grab the image view here. Grab the article. Why not? So just grab this image view, go back to our headline here, and like this we have an image view. So news image view. Next up we have abstract headline. Next we have abstract headline. Again, if you have the code that's similar to this, just grab it. We have an abstract headline here in our cell. Just use it. Image view, abstract headline, then we have a byline. Yeah, this one is, where's this one? This one, the maximum is really 4. Yeah. We could do 0, that's fine. We'll stop here for now. We need to get to persistence. This is a good place to stop. We have our news image view and our abstract headline. We'll set up the constraints for it, and we'll go work on persistence. Anybody still type in those 2 property initializers? Preferred, let's make this title, is title 3 too big? Title 2? Do title 3. If it's too big, we'll change it. Good? Anybody? Okay. Let's go create our constraints now. So private function setup news image view constraints, and we'll have a private function to set up abstract headline constraints. Make sure to call our setup image and make sure to call our setup abstract headline. And now let's go set up our image view. So our image view will be pinned to the top, leading, trailing, and we'll give it some height ratio. So let's go ahead and do so. So news image view, add subview. Don't forget that part first. So add subview, news image view. News image view translates auto resizing mask to false. And then NS layout constraints, activate constraints. And here we said the top, news image view dot top anchor constraint equal to, in this case, safe area here, layout guide dot top. And next we say news image view leading anchor constraint is leading anchor, and news image view dot trailing anchor constraint equal to trailing anchor. And now we need some height ratio, so we'll say news image view dot height anchor constraint equal to height anchor. Multiplier, we'll start off with 40%. What's that? Autocomplete. Yeah, all edges and some height ratio. Yeah, that's super jumbo. New York Times called it super jumbo. What am I? There's no bar here, so there's nothing we need to prevent ourselves from going beneath, right? But there's a bar at the top in our case, and there's a bar at the bottom. But we want to go edge to edge on leading and trailing. UI. That's a good question. I mean, here we could go one step further. We could say, instead of taking the entire height, just take the safe area height. So it's only center of the actual bar, top bar and bottom bar. But the height anchor would be the height of the entire device, right? In that case, the multiplier would be between the two bars with the safe area guide height. This is this. This is this here.
Should we commit?
Yeah, we've done a lot, right? We commit. Last time we committed was what? The last time we committed was when we did the collection, not the collection view cell. Right? Okay. We'll do that one after. We'll just say set up detail view. When we finish with the detail view, it shows up. We'll make a commit. If yours shows up already, you could commit then, and say UI elements were added to detail view controller. Mm-hmm.
Do aspect ratio.
What's the aspect ratio of this guy? Aspect fill?
Yeah, like if you want to do aspect ratio to the screen.
Here. Wait, I'm missing that.
Like aspect, can't you do like programmatically, like do the aspect ratio? Because we're doing 1-to-1, so if we make just the height,
We made 40% of the height.
so that's the same.
Yeah, the multiplier is the same in that case,
Okay.
right? In that case, it will be like whatever, 1 to 0.5. Oh, we haven't done set up headline here. So set up headline, the headline, abstract headline comes right below our image view. So we'll say add subview, abstract headline. Say that again? It's going to be, the top of it will be the bottom of the image, yeah. You talk about the headline, the label? The image is good, right? The image is good to go, correct? The width, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the width is the lead-in and the trail-in. That equals to the width, right? Right, everybody? Right? The width of the image becomes the leading edge to the trailing edge. Everybody? So you don't have to supply no more width there. Are we clear? Yeah? Okay. So abstract headline, let's keep going here. So abstract headline dot translating mask equal to false. We'll give our headline padding of 8 in all 3 areas. So we'll start off by saying NS layout constraint, activate constraints. And here we'll say abstract headline, the top anchor constraint equal to news image what? Bottom, very good. And we'll give it some padding, 8. And next abstract headline dot lead-in anchor constraint equal to lead-in with some padding, 8. And lastly, we have abstract headline dot trail-in constraint equal to trail-in. What's my value? -8, very good. And make sure to call setup abstract in your common init, and also make sure to call setup image in your common init as well. And when we finish typing, we'll go over to the detail view and we'll set those up in our update UI.
And it has to be in the order of what comes first.
Yes, like if I'm accessing or if I'm referring to, what are we referring? We're not referring to anything here. Yes, we are. If I'm referring to the news image view, that news image view needs to be already in the hierarchy. Right? That was the question? Yeah. So I can't refer to something that's not part of the view yet. It needs to be existing as a sub-view in order for me to go say, hey, I want to lay out myself based on you. No height for the label. It will grow based on its contents because you wanted 0, correct? Yes, for number of lines? Very good. Yeah, it's New York Times is giving us abstract text. It's not the entire article. So in that case, there's no concern about it getting cut off by the bottom because we only have 4 lines or so. But if we had more than that, we'd have to probably put it in a scroll view or something like that. Wherever we stop today, I think it's a good place for you two guys to review this project. We'll continue on Monday. Like, I won't do anything on it on Monday, but I think it's a good place to review. You could create a branch, call it review branch. Branch of this one, master, right? Review branch, do as much as you can, and then Monday we come back and we finish. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes? Yes. Okay.
We have to work on this.
How do we get
This guy? Yeah.
Because yours do this too, when I'm trying to, yeah, like, it's doing that.
Take out that yellow background. That's not very good.
So I have to get
We will stop at persistence, but we'll stop at a place where we could click on it, it goes into persistence. Right? We'll stop at a place that gives us enough to go over the weekend and come back. You want to get stuck, come back, we continue, you'll be like, ah. But if you don't get stuck and we just do it as we're doing right now, that it's harder to get to that point, if that makes sense. Right? Because you only type in exactly what I have here. There's no like struggle. Does that make sense? When you're pushing weights, if you're only pushing 10 pounds,
No, I know.
okay.
We have hold down the lab.
I'll be doing code 2 on the weekend. I never stop coding,
I know.
right? Coding is fun, right? What's that?
You don't have labs too.
But I have to prep for stuff. And I always have to grow, right?
You can't be like, oh, I didn't have time. You have a lot to brush.
I do all the labs you guys do over and over again, even if I've done it multiple times. Because APIs change, everything changes. So whatever you're doing, I'm doing plus. Cool? Text alignment. So Luba is asking, not Luba, Yulia is asking, you see Luba is just in my head. If you want to text align, so the question was, if I want to center my text, right, Yulia? I go to my label, and what's the property name? Text alignment, very good. And here I say center, if that's what I'm going for, okay? What's the default value? Left alignment, very good. Okay, so I take it that we are good with constraints here. Everybody typed out? Okay, let's go over to our detail controller. In our detail controller, we have our update UI. So far, it's working with our title. Next, let's go ahead and set up the other elements. Actually, we didn't set up our view yet. So let's go ahead and do private let detail view equal to article detail view. And let's load that up. So in my load view, I say view equal to detail view. Why what? If we're doing everything programmatic, it's very important that we override load view and set up our view here. You'll get wet behavior if you do add sub view here. Okay? Very, very important. Okay? Yeah, super jumbo. 2000 by 1000.
I think that's why I was probably getting that.
That glitch?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we have system background, we have update UI, all that is still working. We go to update UI. Let's go update our UI. So we'll start off by saying detail view dot. I mean, in reality, we could have our detail view do the update UI. Keep that in mind, guys. The less code you have in your view controller, the better. Everybody with me? All right, so the same way we do a cell, maybe we want to abstract our code to our view, okay? Keep that in mind. Yeah, like the update UI should just be on the view. Like we should just be able to give the view an article and say configure yourself, okay? Less code in the view controller, the better, period, okay? The view stuff should just be in the view. You give the view some article, it just configures itself. Very similar with the cell, configure cell, right? I would probably have like an update or configure view in my detailed view code and then just pass it the article, okay? Yes?
Just to be sure, in our detail view, we only had 4 constraints for the image: top, leading, trailing, and then a height. We didn't add a width.
No width. Why? Because we have leading and trailing,
Okay.
right? Cool, very good. So detail view, what do we access in here? Headline first, abstract headline. Dot text equal to article dot abstract. Because that image code is long too. That's like what, 8 lines of code? Take that out of there. So detail, make sure to import image kit here. Okay, so detail view dot news image dot get image, and our nice handy function, right? All what we have to say is article dot get article image format and pass in the format. In our case, what do we want? Super Jumbo. Okay. Next, we switch on our result. Case failure. Yes, sir. Don't we have to? Don't we have to what?
No, I just realized I'm not saying that because there's a view loaded for abstract template, but
It doesn't matter how we set the properties. What matters with the constraints, right? How we set our constraints, but the properties doesn't matter the order. Cool, very good. Next we have our case here. Success, let image. And here, dispatch queue.main.async here, self.detail view.image view, image equal to image. Okay. So as I said, refactor this. I'll refactor it myself, but if you take, 10 lines of code out of your view controller, that's a good day.
Alright, so, refactor it and you like put it in its what do you mean by refactor?
To refactor and set up in detail view.
Like the whole function.
Yeah,
Oh.
so it's going to be something like that. Example, it would be, how would I call this? Yeah. So how would I call this? I'll just call this like detail view dot configure view or something like that. Configure view for article, and then pass in the article. Cool? So instead of having 10 lines of code, we have like 1 line of code in our view controller. Okay? Very good. Yes. Top? Top of the page. We set up the view there, right? Okay. You good? Can I go down? We could as well give this a default image. UI image system name. Your image and your headline shows? Very nice. You assumed. Don't use that word. Still typing? Hands up? Okay. Okay, I'll run it, see what we have. Click on some article. Just like magic, it just all works, right? Okay, so we're able to segue over and pass information, render the information on screen. We're able to see our title or our abstract title. We could make that bigger if we want. I think we have 3, but we could use large title. We could go crazy for our UI, but that's not what we're after. Great. So at this point, as Tiffany says, that would be a good place to make a commit, right? Our detail view works. It shows our image and our abstract headline. So let's make a commit here. So commit. Segues and updates detail view UI. Commit it, yes. So commit and push. So the question yesterday was how many commits is good commit? At this point, how many commits we have? We're not even keeping track, right? We definitely somewhere.
The all 3, the initial commit, the
Nah, we have more commits than that. Let's see. If I go to, well, not my website. Not here either. What's happening? Okay, so if I go to the repo, we have 14 commits.
Oh, you from yesterday and today?
Yeah, not 3 commits, 14 commits. Add child controller, added collection view, wrote unit test, added Swift packages, added API client, create get ignore, update config file, added fetch stories, create readme, update GitHub get ignore, added custom collection view cell, segue. Say that again. Verified here. This commit was created on github.com. So it was verified as a good commit with the authentication key. All right, cool. So let us keep going here. Everybody typed out the update UI. Everybody has the UI showing, correct? Very, very good. Excellent. As we head to the end of today, let us work on persistence. We all our, let's see, let me go to it. Do we get the print statement when we click on that bookmark? Do we all get that? Yes, we do? Okay, cool. Let us go ahead and set up persistence. For your project, when you're setting up persistence, do as follows. Go to your tab controller. There should only be one instance of, if you're using, you could use multiple persistence, plist, whatever, but for the assignment, most likely you'll only have one plist to deal with. Everybody with me? So there should only be one instance of that persistence that you create. In our project on Tuesday, all what we do here, we say import data persistence here. We start off with one instance, and then we inject all our view controllers with that same instance. Okay? Very good. So here we have our data persistence library that we wrote here. Let's go create an instance of it. So we'll say private here, variable, data persistence, equal to data persistence. It's a generic type. We are following here. This is very important. It's a generic type. So my type is article. And here I have an opportunity to give it a file name. I will say saved articles.plist. And I have an error. My error says we'll have that error on Tuesday as well. If we say import data persistence, we are guaranteed to have that error unless we updated our model already before the fact. My model does conform to what now?
Quotable.
It conforms to Codable. In order to work with that data persistence library, your model also needs to work with Equatable. It needs to conform to Equatable as well, right? Because in the logic for the data persistence, there's places where we equate objects together. Okay? To do that, it needs to conform to Equatable. So, this line of code is good, but we need to go to the model. We need to go to the model now and make sure that it's also conforming to what protocol? Equatable. So right here, I'll say and equatable here,
And you can't put comma, or you should.
and equatable here on my structs, and here and equatable.
If you put the comma, what's the difference?
If you put a comma where? Here, like this?
Instead of and.
You could put a comma, but you'll get an error. Okay, I'm not even going to show us type alias. I'm not going to get into that. We forgot file name. Update your data persistence initializer to take file name. I probably should just take that out. That doesn't really matter. Okay, to retrack what we did, we created a data persistence instance in our top controller. We made sure that our model also conforms to what protocol? Equatable. Okay? And if you have multiple structs, all of them needs to also conform to equatable here. Julia, what's your question? If you're interested, I think I'll show it, I guess. You could do type alias, or actually, I think you could just do writable. Let's stop. I'm not gonna put it. Let's just stop here. That's fine. Because writable is seen by the data persistence class. So quotable and equatable, that's it. So when you start your struct, you could just do it probably right off the bat. So on Tuesday, I recommend when you're working in your model, directly just do quotable and equatable. Okay? On Tuesday.
Only on the structs, right?
Yes, for the models, right? Yeah. And it's cascading, so this guy needs to be equatable, this guy needs to be equatable, this guy needs to be equatable, and that's it. Excellent. Let's go back to our top controller. So now we set up persistence here. Now, looking back at our prototype, we have 3 tabs. My detail view controller is where I do the saving, right, everybody? That guy needs a persistence, everybody. My read later or my saved article needs a persistence as well, because it needs to know when the persistence got changed, it's going to conform to the delegate. Okay? Those are the 2 places I need it. Settings doesn't care about it right now. So for now, we'll inject the first 2 view controllers with a data persistence. Okay? They need them. The detail needs it. In order for the detail to get it, it needs to get it from the news feed. Everybody with me? Right? So it's a bunch of injecting data persistence into view controllers that need them. Okay? We're not creating a new data persistence equal anywhere. Okay? It's coming from the top controller.
So we do right now the detail and
Not detail. We'll start off with newsfeed and saved articles. Then when we push, what we do in the push part, we'll do detail after. Let's start off with the first 2 first. There's no detail in my top controller. Julia? In my top controller, I have no detail controller here. We'll set that up later. We'll set it up when we push it.
so because we have the double controller, we will do persistence in our main controller.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Okay. Yes.
Next to the top story.
Top story. This guy. What part? Do you have an error or question?
Yeah, I try to make so you mean multimedia?
Multimedia, article,
I
and
tried
top
to-
stories.
I try to make article quotable and equatable, and it said no.
Mini likes that one.
Um,
Antonio, Aaron, can we double check Matt's computer?
No, I got it. It's because the multimedia wasn't also quotable and equatable.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Let's take a break here and really quickly make sure everybody has a data persistence. So newsfeed, everybody please, go to your newsfeed controller. Wherever we need it, we need to create one or declare one. In our newsfeed controller, let's go ahead and do public var data persistence. And here, we are not doing equal here. Everybody? Everybody. We are not creating a new one. We are saying data persistence here. Oh, we need to import it. Sorry. Import data persistence. And here I could say data persistence. Our type is good now to go. Article, this. You could copy that line of code because we'll do it two other places. We'll do it in the save article and we'll do it in the detail. There's no initializer here. Initializer comes from the tab controller subclass. That's one place and the only place it exists. And then everything else gets injected with that same instance so that our delegate works on our saved article. Cool? Yes, sir?
Why do we have this stream of data persistence from the main to the detail? Is it because,
How do you get it to the detail if you don't have it from the main?
no, so my question is, why can't we just instantiate the detail in the tab bar control subclass and then just pass it around?
Where do you get access to the detail here?
I'm gonna just create like a lazy bar on the tab for the detail, then you load that detail in the video load, and then you pass the instance of data persistence into the,
What if there's a place where you need it on the main?
like, did I try that?
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh.
We'll do this.
Let me just clarify. So you said do not make equal because equal would mean that you create more.
Yes.
You created one, so
Exactly.
whatever.
Exactly. We want to pass one instance of this throughout the app, right? The reason why we're not doing a singleton, because we could have done a singleton, and then we have one instance of the thing, but singletons doesn't work with the delegate that we need. Okay? All right. So, to keep in mind, to keep this simple, come Tuesday, we create one instance. Where do we create it? Tab bar controller. Everything else gets that same instance, right, via injection. That's all we need to know. All right, so copy that string.
And spelling matters, like on each.
Spelling matters.
Like
Actually,
if I accidentally put A.
it doesn't matter. The spelling here, I could say DP here.
Okay.
That doesn't matter. Like the spelling doesn't matter,
Okay.
right? Okay, so now I'm in newsfeed. Next up, let's go to article detail. So article detail gets the same thing. Article detail, right, everybody? Article detail as well, yes? And lastly, saved article.
Oh wait, you imported ImageKit, but we haven't used it yet.
We used it here, right?
In detail here?
Yeah, for the get image stuff, right here.
How come I'm able to do it without importing? Well, I have ImageKit and UIKit and ImageKit are two different ones?
Yes. ImageKit has the get image in there. Like when you say get image, that's what we wrote, right?
Right, because I have only UIKit and it worked. I didn't import ImageKit.
You hear? Like it cascaded down? Is that what you're saying?
It still works.
Okay. If it doesn't work, just know you need to import ImageKit here because it has get image. If your get image is not working, make sure you have ImageKit imported. Great. So next step, last step, let's go to saved article. Saved article, import data persistence in saved article. Okay. Cool. And saved article, we'll actually test what we'll do here in saved article. Since we don't have our collection view yet, we'll do that on Monday, or Luba also do it on the weekend. In our saved article, we need a collection view here, but for now, let us go ahead and write an extension on saved article that conforms to data persistence delegate. And here I will go ahead and implement did save. I'll put a print statement. Item was saved. And then I'll put a next one here called did delete. And I'll put a print statement that says item was deleted. Okay, build. The only place I want to get updates from my data persistence is in the saved article controller. Everybody? When I saved an item in my detail, I want to update my saved article controller. What does that look like in the app? It looks like this. If I go in detail here, like if I click on some article, everybody, let's actually go to the app and do that. Why am I doing this? If I go to the app here and I click save, I want my save articles, my second tab, to say, hey, there was an update, go ahead and reload your collection view. Okay? That's why I'm implementing the delegate protocols there, the methods. That's why I'm conforming to my delegate persistence there. Very similar to like a table view controller. If you want to get updates, you extend it. Somebody did select on your particular table view, you want to get updated. So where do I want to get updated? I want to get updated in the saved article. Very similar to your weather app. Where do you want to get updated in your weather app? In our weather app, what tab wants to get updates? Favorites. So if your favorites wants to get updated, this is where you say data. This is where you want to write code saying, I want to listen for changes on the data persistence. Right? When somebody saves or deletes, I want to get changes about it. Meaning, I want to reload my table view because there was changes. Okay. So here, go ahead. Sorry, Mel.
Is there a way to fix like the title because I don't know the way it like has a dot up there?
Oh, you mean ellipses? You could set up a label like because the title is longer, so you could not do it up there and then just have a label there, as Emily was saying. So have a label below your image view.
But there's no way to do it.
No, not up there. Yeah. Okay.
Alex, for this, so for the saved article, it's registering that it's being saved, but saved article view controller isn't actually active right now, right?
No,
We're doing this in the house.
we're gonna do the code in the tab controller. We haven't set the delegate yet. Cool. So let's go to the tab controller. Everything we're doing there, we'll go over it again on Monday. But first, let's go set up our data persistence. So newsfeed needs one, right? Yes? I'm in the tab controller subclass. I'm in the tab controller subclass. And let's go inject our data persistence. So here, view controller dot data persistence equal to data persistence. So newsfeed needs one. We agreed, correct? And what's the other one we said? Saved article, right? So saved article here.
So what we're doing right now, exactly.
We are passing the same instance of the data persistence we created on line 14 to the newsfeed controller and also to the saved article controller.
So that we injected this directly is not enough and to also replace.
What we did earlier was just declare the variable. Because if the variable doesn't exist, I cannot access the variable that doesn't exist. I need to create it. Very similar to our article. In our detail view, we said var article.
Maybe it's because it's private. Is it supposed to have to? Oh, maybe it's inside.
It's not going to autocomplete. This part is not going to autocomplete. Everybody, this part is not going to autocomplete for us.
Is there a particular reason why?
I think it has to do with lazy var versus instance variable, and Xcode doesn't see it. At some point, it might get updated, but right now, it's like when you're in a closure and you say $0, right? Unless it recognizes it works on some instances, but there's some instances where it doesn't autocomplete for you until you say $1. At that point, it's going to know the context of that. Yeah. I would say like a compiler optimization thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, so this is the data persistence on saved article view controller is only transmitted from the tab controller
Yes.
and instantiated?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then we need one more step here to do. We need to say view controller dot data persistence dot delegate equal. I'm still in the save articles. I'm on 926. That code is going to be very similar for you guys on Tuesday, so just knowing who needs to listen to the thing and
Do
deciding.
that all there as opposed to waiting till you get to that.
Exactly, because that point, yeah, because the view did load doesn't get called unless you, exactly, very good, Yeah,
Is the reason why you're doing the delegation if it's not here rather than it's not like
because if I do not do it here, it does not activate until I say view did load. In other words, unless I load that view explicitly by clicking on it.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? But here it activates because this is a lazy var. Everything just activates right away as opposed to going to view did load. Right? Because it won't work if we do it in view did load as opposed to here. Cool?
Because it's in the parent view controller, the tab bar?
Exactly. Like everything here gets activated, gets initialized right away.
Because it's the root view controller.
Exactly.
This is what's gonna.
Exactly. But as opposed to like if I do it in view did load, unless I click on that tab, the view doesn't load. Right? And then my delegate is not going to listen.
Nothing gets set.
Exactly. Very good. So keep in mind that Save Articles Controller is the one registering as a delegate to listen to changes for my data persistence.
I'm getting an error saying cannot assign values of the controller to data persistence.
Easy. Okay.
Why did she get that error?
She didn't show me the error. She kept the error to herself. She kept the error to herself.
Check your, no, not the data persistence.
Why was that thing down?
Check if your,
Unsaved item.
We set a delegate because you know the two methods we wrote down to conform to it? Those two methods needs to be called. In order for those two methods to be called, I need to register it as a delegate here and not in the view did load. The view did load would be too late. Exactly. It's good. We're getting there. Very good. How we doing? Everybody wrote the code? Yes? Any questions about this pattern we're using here? We're using dependency injection to inject our data persistence into the view controllers that needs them. Okay? Very similar to what we've been doing from Unit 2. You want a book in your detailed view controller, you need to inject that view controller with a book. Right? Here, you want your articles to conform to data persistence. It needs a data persistence instance. It's not going to create its own instance, right? It needs to have that same instance from the tab bar. Because throughout our app, we're using one data persistence that's linked with our saved articles plist. Okay? If we have a different plist, that's fine. That's a different question altogether, right? Greg, question?
So why do we need it in the news feed?
To pass over to the detail.
Oh, just as simple as that?
Yes. Okay? That was your question? What's that?
I was like.
You gotta ask them. You gotta ask
No,
them. You gotta
I
ask
didn't
them.
know how to like. I got.
Yeah. So the question was, why do we need it in the newsfeed? Newsfeed passes it over to detail. Okay? At some point, newsfeed might have its own. If we have a swipe to delete, then newsfeed needs it, right?
Please, no.
Why? What?
Let's Unless
What's
it's
happening?
CR, you don't need
I mean, I'm just saying.
to won't need all that stuff.
All right, cool. Any questions before we continue?
Yeah.
Questions? Yes, sir.
When specifically is it passing it over to use? Have we done that yet?
To the detail?
Use feed to detail.
No, we haven't done that yet. But if you want to do that, where's the place to do it? Right? So Matt's question was, if we pass in the data persistence from newsfeed over to detail, where are we doing that?
Sorry, what was your question?
Matt's question was, where are we doing passing from newsfeed over to detail? Where are we passing that data persistence? Did select, right, everybody? That's where we're doing our segue logic. This is where I'm going to pass it over. Yes? Cool. So let's go do that there. Let's go to our newsfeed, our did select item, and we'll say article detail dot data equal to data. That's it, right? It's just passing information at the end of the day. That's all we're doing. You want data persistence? I pass it over to you. You want to listen to changes? You need to register yourself as a delegate, right? Everybody? We'll make as much notes as we need there, but what I want us to do is go over it again. Not shove the code on the side. You have to go through this code again. This is the heart of the assessment. Passing information, registering yourself as a delegate, creating your own delegate. In this case, we don't have to create our own delegate. It's already given to us by the data persistence import, right, that we did. Right? So half of the job is done. It's just about passing data. As developers, we should be able to pass data from A to B. You want to listen to changes? Register yourself as a delegate, right? Okay, cool. So let us, go ahead.
Persistence is for saving.
Yeah, but you want to hear changes, correct? Saving is one thing, but a next view controller wants to get those changes, right? A table view is for showing data, right? Why do I need a did select? Why do I need a did select row at on a table view, for example? To show the detail, to get information when the user presses on something. If you save something, somebody else needs information about a saved happen because I have a collection view of items that were saved, right? So they're linked together, right? If I save one place, somebody else is showing things I've saved. I need to communicate to that person, there's new saved items.
We need graphics.
What's that?
We need graphics. Graphics.
We'll do graphics in the app. Yes.
I'm also not totally getting like why the so like let's say you were to save it in the first view controller using like a save function and then just load the data using data persistence and not trading the data persistence data, would that also work?
That would work, but you would have to go there and do view will appear and reload the data. Okay?
So with this, the big difference is that it's happening
Automatically.
automatically.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Let's now move on to our detail view and run the app here. We have a print statement, right? We have a print statement, but we haven't done code for saving here. Go down to where it says save article button pressed. Right here. So when the user clicks on the bookmark to save an article, we save the article. So we say data persistence dot create, and the article is article. And this is a do catch, sorry here, do catch. Try. Save. Print. We need to add the type. What's nil? Why are you nil? We have the article up here. We just, it's an optional. So we don't want to. guard-let article equal to article, else just return here. Okay, because it's an optional, it doesn't expect an optional, so we just want to wrap it here. And here we'll simply say, what's that? Yeah, I tried. And here we'll say error, saving article, error saving article, error. So the first place we encounter saving or whatever is in the app, in our detail view. When the user clicks on the bookmark, we save it to persistence right here. Save to documents directory. Yes, sir.
On the video over here, like, it persistence dot target.
Say that again.
Like the target function, like did save here, or
Did save.
is that already?
There's no did save here.
Okay.
Like that doesn't care about did save. What cares about did save is where we're listening to it.
Right.
That's in the saved article controller.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Mel?
Can you pull up, cause I don't know if you.
Yes, we do. Here. Exactly. Exactly. It's yeah. So Shania's question was that instance is nil until it's set in the tab controller. Well, it's first set in the tab controller before you even get here. Cool. If you forget to set it, then your app will crash because it expects data persistence. Very good. Okay, so far we haven't done any delegation here, right? As far as like did save, everybody? We wrote the functions, but we haven't seen it work, right, everybody? So here I saved it. Do we agree, or are we on board with data persistent create? Are we comfortable with that, right? We've been doing that since image picker. So we say data persistence create item, it saves that item, or it creates that item in documents directory. Chelsea? Which one? The create item? It comes from the class we wrote before. And when we say import data persistence, it comes with that whole class. So we don't have to like network helper drag the whole folder in. So we wrote all that already in class, right? So create item, creates it, saves it to the documents. Now the next question is, I created something, I want it to show up in my saved articles, correct? This is where the delegate comes in. Everybody? I want to now see the change in my saved articles controller. So if we go to the saved articles controller, saved articles controller, we implemented the extension on the delegate for the persistence. Okay? There's two methods in there we wrote. There's one that says did save, an item was saved. It's listening, Luba. It's listening, an item was saved, this function gets called. An item was deleted, this function gets called. Okay? Those are the two functions we wrote. We said we could have written more functions, but those are the two functions we wrote. The articles controller wants to listen for changes on the data persistence class. When I add an item, let me know about it so I could reload my collection view. Same thing with the delete. If you delete something, I also want to update my collection view. Right? We could take it a step further. Instead of reloading, we could go a step further and say remove item at index. Remember that function? But that's enough for now. We'll just like reload that particular collection view. Okay? So before we do any UI or whatever, let's see if that communication happens. Okay? Let's see if that communication happens, and we'll go over it again. So let's run the app. We're not checking for duplicates or whatever. We'll just be saving items randomly. So click on any article you want, and click on the bookmark. And let's see if we have item was saved here. Do we see that? So as I clicked on it, my delegate is working. So the two of them work hand in hand. As I save, somebody else is listening. Okay? So the thing is beautiful. This is like magic code. As opposed to like going to the controller, writing view will appear, and saying every time you view will appear, reload my data, right? That's like something you do if you're in a hurry, right? You're in a hurry, you want to do some quick code, right? On Tuesday, if you do this, that's fine. If you're still uncomfortable, but aim to do it using delegation. Everybody with me, right? As opposed to going to view will appear and then reload your entire controller every time. Everybody with me? Okay. So magically, not magically, we wrote the code. That's why we're still talking about it. It's magic, but it's not magic, right? You have to write it. So the saved article listens for changes. Something was saved. Item was saved. We could even say what item was saved here. Actually, yeah. We could even say what item was saved here. But, I think we're at a good place. I'll go over it again. I think that's more important. But here, at this point, it's just updating UI. So the to-do, for example, would be over the weekend. We'll come back on Monday in this state here. But to-dos would be, do we have a saved article view? We do have a saved article view. Does it have a collection view yet? No, it doesn't. No, we don't have a saved article. Okay, so to do, create a saved article view. To do, add a collection view to the saved article view. To do, add saved view to saved view controller. Okay.
So, our assessment gonna be this big?
Seriously, 'cause I don't think it's gonna run 2 minutes.
Why are you guys always looking there?
I feel like they need
No,
like
I'm just curious.
Luba. Okay, next one. Create saved article view, add a collection view to the saved article view, right? And then add collection view to this. And next, create an array of saved articles, which is an array of articles, right? Obviously, we have a did set on this guy, yes? Yes? All right, cool. We have a did set on that, and then to do, the last to do that makes everything work is reload collection view in did save and, well, just did save for now. So reload collection view in did save of the data persistence delegate method. That's it, right? And then what's our collection view look like? So add a collection view to saved articles, to do, to collection view is vertical with 2 cells per row. Yeah.
Why do you want us to rewrite and delegate as opposed to the reset of
Actually, you could do it in the did set, right? That's a good point here. So instead of doing reload here, very good. So instead of doing reload here, you could reload collection view in, actually, yeah, you could reload the collection view in did set here. Of, yeah, you could do that. Reload collection view in did set of saved articles array, or whatever we call it, saved articles. Cool.
But is there a place for it? Is there
If you just want to reload the table view, that's fine. Yeah, as opposed to like setting the actual array. You could do it either or. The bigger picture is like understanding the parts we just went through. Because that last part is just like reloading the collection view at this point. But yes, you could add item and then have it automatically reload every time you add an item because you have the item. Okay, so we'll go over everything again from the beginning with the whole data persistence part of it. Oh man. Can I take a screenshot of this and send it? Send it to here. What's that? 1 second. Okay, this is what the cell kind of looks like, if that's what you're going for. So you have 2 cells per row. So as you save items, you could have your cell such that it looks like this. Everybody? Everybody? Right? So 2 cells per row. You could style up the cell whichever way you want. But when you click on the cell, you should be able to detail. Yes? Same detail view. All right, let's go over data persistence from the beginning, where we started with the tab controller. So on Tuesday, you want to work with data persistence. Where do you start? Tab bar controller. What do you do? Line 14. Setting up data persistence and its delegate. And then we'll say, that would be beautiful, but nah. Luba, we're gonna write all the steps. Luba, we're gonna write all the steps. We're gonna write all the steps, and you review the steps. Come back Monday if you have any questions about the steps. Yes, everybody? All right. Step 1. This is what we do for step 1. Okay. I'm sorry. This is step 1. Step 2, let's go to newsfeed. Newsfeed needs one, right? So step 2, whatever controller needs to pass it to its detail controller will need one. In our case here, we put it here. So newsfeed controller, step 2. And here we'll say, since we need an instance passed to the article detail view controller. Okay, this is step 2. Yeah. Step 3, who else needs it? Detail and save. So, okay, so we could do that. So we could go down to detail here, which is in my did select. Here, step 3. Since we need an instance passed to the article detail controller, we declare okay. So this is step 2. Step 3, Yulia was saying we need to pass it over to the detail. So we do it here, where we have our segue logic, right? Okay, so that's did select. Next, at this point in the program, we should know what that line does, right? Uh, Detail needs a persistent, I give it a persistence. Yes, yes. Very similar to detail needs an article. Detail needs an article, I give it an article. Okay. In detail view, where you're actually doing the listening, this is where you conform. Where is it? No detail, sorry. Saved articles, where you actually do the listening. This is where you conform. The what? Oh, you mean up here? Yeah. So here, right? I don't even know what step this would be. 4. The whole pattern we have to realize here is if you need access to it, you need to have a variable of the name and the type of the thing you need. Next, last step. This one? Oh, down here? Oh, here? Oh, that's not 2. That's like, no. We just copied. We could call that 5. Right? Conforming to the delegate here. Conforming to. What's that, Luba? Yeah, you just said the delegate there in that in the in the lazy var. Yeah, exactly. That's a pattern, right? The pattern becomes more apparent knowing that if I want to listen for changes, I need the same instance of that data persistence in order for me to register it. Okay. Settings view controller, nothing is happening there. We have step 5. We have step 5. Almost done here. Step 5? Okay. And I think Luba, right, you were saying in the tab controller, we missed a step. So the last step in the tab controller is here, right? This one? In the tab controller, saved article, you need to actually say this is the delegate and pass. Again, any project you have with tabs, I would first set up my tab controller such that it looks like this. This is the 3rd one we've done, and the patterns are very similar. Wherever you need data persistence, the view controller itself needs a variable called data persistence, right? Or whatever it is, but it needs that, right? And whoever is listening for changes, you need to register them as the delegate, okay? Once you do that part here on 29, then you need to go conform with the extension. Everybody? Shania? Right? So when I say data persistence at delegate, I need to conform to the delegate. I'll get an error if I don't conform to the delegate. And in that case, I go to my saved article and I say extension, data persistence delegate, and the 2 methods. Any questions? Yes?
If we place the delegate of the data persistence inside the local controller.
In the view did load?
Yeah, no, not in the video, but not in the tab, in the detail. You create a variable for the delegate conforming to the.
In the detail, right? In the
Yeah.
detail here.
Then that's just more work than.
In the detail here?
Yeah, if you call typecast it to the protocol, and then you have to do the get on the button in the detail, and then all this. And this won't work, right?
Yeah, I think the pattern we have there is,
That's what I did for the weather and it worked.
yeah,
But I just noticed that all of that was basically simplified by just doing it in the tab.
yeah, yep,
In the tab.
yep, exactly, like we did, correct?
Yeah.
That's like where we have to like share resources. If there's any part of this code that you don't understand, feel free, come back to me, go to a peer, go to an IA, so that we know the pattern we're using, right? That pattern we've done with Scheduler app, that pattern is also apparent in the weather app, right? The image picker is a bit easier because you only have one view, or there's no tab there per se. So just to relay the information back is way easier than this one. Does that make sense? But when you have multiple tabs, if you want to be able to listen to anything, you need to start off with where you created all those view controllers. Where we created all the view controllers is in the tab bar controller, right? So we start off and doing everything in the tab controller. And again, come Tuesday, this is going to be very similar. Wherever you want to listen for those changes to save stuff, because the pattern is going to be very similar. I click on something to save it in a detailed view controller, other view controller needs to show that change. Okay? That's it. There's nothing else there. We're not going to throw you any curveballs. There's nothing different there. I click on something to save it. I go to a different tab where my stuff is, my saved stuff is. It should populate. Okay? Ways we've been doing, we say view will appear with a different persistence, load things again, and it shows up. But that's not delegation, right? We also want to test your delegation competence, right? So here you have a data persistence, like that's given to you already. You have a data persistence library. All what you have to do is import that data persistence library, and that has a delegate on it. Okay? It has all that already. We're not telling you to go ahead and write a whole class persistence helper, right? From scratch, closed book. Do we rather that? Okay. Right? We're just telling you to look at patterns we've done in class and follow that pattern. We have 2 days. Follow the pattern. We've made notes here. Don't close the project and end here. Go on the weekend. Make notes. You have a question, come back. Or hit it up on Slack. But now our thing saves, right? This is not it. I could save multiple times here. Everything is in my, at this point, everything is my documents. Right? Actually, let's do one more test. Are we okay for 1:30? Just one more test, because nobody's going to ask me, when I reload my thing, how do I get the information back? So, one more thing, 5 minutes. Let's go to saved articles in our view did load somewhere here. We'll start off the to-dos. We'll say private var. We what? Oh, we said 5 more minutes. Saved articles equal to an array of what? Article, right? Yes? And here we say did set for now. And next step, view did load, we'll have a fetch here. We'll write a simple function, say fetch saved articles. Or what fetch save articles does is it looks in the documents directory for stuff. And here it's going to say saved articles equal to data, well, try, data persistence, load my stuff. That's it. And here we have some print statements saying error fetching articles with some error. So we saved it here, build, load items, optional, try, oh, take this out, sorry. So here we have our saved articles, we have our did set here, and we have a simple print statement saying there are X amount of articles. So that's going to be confirmation, right? There are, that count.
It should be like, where you are.
Yeah, I pressed it a bunch of times. So in our view load, we'll call our fetch. Why is it still orange? System background. And here we'll call our fetch saved articles. I'm here. Who wrote it unconfirmed?
Yours doesn't say that it's.
It what?
That it's.
It runs, right? Thank you, Yulia. So Yulia said she confirmed that how many articles we have? 3. And keep saving. Like try to test save again. That number should go up, right? But then again, you have viewed it. Yeah, it should go up.
Oh, that's right.
Or you could have it, you know where you should have it? Maybe have the print statement in the did save. That's probably a better place to put it. Put it in the did save. Just shift it someplace else.
Did you make this save button?
Cool? Confirmation, yes? Okay, let me run it and we'll stop here. We have enough to go on now, right? On the weekend to create the UI views or the collection views. Let's run this and see what's going on. So run. Challenges have to be left, Luba. 1 second. Run the app. An instance already running. But let me see that instance then. Cool? Everybody got their articles showing up with counts, right? I'm gonna run another. One second and we're done here. My simulator is.
Well, maybe because it's in the view did load. If you put it back in, it's in the view did.
Or put it in the function as this save. Put it there. That's what I'm saying. Like just let's run this.
When you run it in the did load, when you run it the reverse style, it'll show it.
Okay. Any other questions? We'll stop lecture here. My simulator is also taking a break. Yep.
So when you add, did that put the name or
Like put it a place where it changes, right? Like here. Oh, you know what to do? Call the function. Call this function here. This one. Call this. You see what I'm saying? And then every time this calls, it's going to call this, and then add it here, and you will have your print statement. 1 second. Okay, so we'll stop lecture here, and we'll come back Monday to continue.